Hello there, I'm Rick610. Today I'm going to be talking about that we need to begin to limit our social media usage. I mean, sure, you can use it, and you probably should to keep up with what's going on, but you also want to limit it. You don't want to dwell too much on what's going on, and you don't want to commiserate for too long. Because there's one thing I noticed is that as someone who has struggled with clinical depression in the past, one of the main things that I had to struggle with was my desire to have it continue. It sounds insane, but let me explain. As someone who's depressed, the idea of not being depressed after enough time becomes actually a little scary. So what we do instinctively is that we don't want to we don't like the fear of the unknown. We've forgotten what it's like to be happy. So what we do is we try to keep it going. We commiserate, and then we wallow in our misery. If anything, it's a sort of comfort of at least we know how we're going to feel. And that's one thing I've noticed on like Gab or 4chan. I probably should have included 4chan in that in the thingy background. Oh well. But especially on 4chan, it's just this pile of commiseration, this endless circle jerking about how bad things are, and very little discussion about how you can actually improve things. So what you need to be doing is a focus on improving things, improving yourself if you have to. If you have to just get into shape, actually that should be the minimum. Everyone should be getting into shape now. Physical fitness is needed more than ever. But what we need to be doing is that we just need to limit the negativity. Things are bad and they're getting worse, and they need to be kept have an eye keep on them. I know. But if we just wallow in this endless pit of misery, just tearing each other down, like I understand the black pills, and like I'm this. There are white pills out there, and the black pill should not be ignored because they might have a point. It's like it's like how Ramsey Paul said once Trump was finally defeated. It's like Napoleon of Napoleon's he was only successful because of effective communication between him and his lieutenants. If his lieutenants were trying to hold a position as ordered and they were failing, but all the messengers were saying that the situation was good, and then they lost the battle because of that, Napoleon would have had the man executed on the spot. So we need to listen to them, but I also want to say we need to focus on the positives. Don't social media as it's designed. It's just the way it works. It just spreads negativity. We need to redirect our focus of self-improving, getting involved in our communities, getting involved in our in the GOP as much as possible, to turn it into our party, because that was the big problem of the Trump years. Trump was largely our guy. Some ways he wasn't, but in many ways he was. But the party was most certainly not our party. If we can turn our GOP into our party, at the very least we can put our policies in place in our areas. But we need to, in order to do that, like we can use social media to organize and then spread these ideas. But we need to like stop just endlessly commiserating. It's a never-ending cycle. It just continues to get worse, and it never stops until we physically remove ourselves from said situations of said websites. It's just really we need to begin reorienting our focus, redirecting everything, trying to keeping our head up, knowing that the Stockman principle is accurate. Lieutenant Stockman, he was re- um, the guy in '92, the spoiler candidate. That guy's VP, and he was captured. Stockman, Ross Perot's VP. Stockman and his crew were captured in the Vietnam War. They were subject to they were subject to POW torture. And what they created their survival issue was that they clung to a very simple principle of they did not deny the reality of the situation. They did not deny how bad things were, but they approached it from an unshakable determination and just certainty that in the end they would prevail. That's what we have to do in this situation. We need to stay calm, do not deny that how bad things are, but try to limit how much it's getting us down to, getting us down, and if the knowledge that we will in the end prevail. If we have to engage in a little bit of escapism, play some video games, then do that. We simply need to keep our chin up, limit the social media usage, and focus on self-improving. And basically, the way I see the world, I got some very good advice. You should be doing one of two things: enjoying yourself or improving yourself. Everything else is a waste of time. Commiserating, unless it's like genuine grief, like that's one thing that needs to be the stages of grief need to be gone through. But if you're not improving yourself or enjoying yourself, you're wasting your time. If we can get our guys in the state legislators in 2022, we can get our guy into the White House in 2024. And for the sake of freedom, corporatism delenda est.